Living Local presents Biz Buzz 413 with your host, Jill Munson.
Welcome back. This is Biz Buzz 413, and I'm your host, Jill Munson, joined by Pam Victor, the head of happiness, also the founder, but head of happiness is way cooler, from Happier Valley Comedy. Thanks for sticking around, Pam. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me back.
So we were chatting before in part one about, the length of the organization. You guys are, coming up on 10 years, and that's huge. And not only is it huge, but you made it through the pandemic. Would you just share a little bit about what that looked like for your type of business?
Lots of crying, lots and lots of crying.
Which is very funny coming from Happier Valley Comedy, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's really important to feel the full range of human emotions, not just to be happy all the time. So there's a time for happiness and a time for crying. And that was definitely a crying for crying, because after my hard work of opening the business in a physical location, we had been open for 18 months, I think, or something like that, or a year. We closed the theater completely. The entire theater was closed for 18 months.
Oh my gosh. I can't even.
I know. I couldn't even. Still did the professional development online. And in fact, that was we hit our revenue numbers that we had set in January 2020. In fact, probably exceeded them. But of course, all the other revenue was gone. There was fortunately at that time a lot of support from the government. There was a shuttered venue grant that we got, and a lot of support from local governments as well. So unlike some other improv theaters, in fact, a lot of big dogs closed, we could reopen.
That's amazing.
We're small.
Right. That nimbleness, yeah.
Yeah, and we're in Hadley, so our rent wasn't like New York rent.
Right. Thank God for 413 in that regard, without a doubt, right?
For sure.
So,
yeah, we reopened, and now we're running, I think, 15 classes a week. We're selling out shows. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I'm very curious, and I bet you, the people listening, are very curious. I've been teasing this big news, and I'm so excited to be able to be, one of the channels that's sharing this information. But would you share what is going on for Happier Valley Comedy that is just going to blow people's minds?
It's still blowing my mind, because I set out to make $16,000 through the Can I Make a Living Doing What I Love experiment, when I was opening the company. And now we recently closed on a 2-year, $230,000 capital campaign to open our dream theater. And that was partially funded through the Mass Cultural Council. It was a matching grant. So we raised $130,000. Again, that doesn't even make sense to me. And they met that. And so we're just finishing construction now and opening it, hopefully, at some point in September. Grand opening is set for October 25th for our big celebration.
Perfect. So we got maybe a month or so to go on that. Of course, I don't even know what date it is. And now my dog's going to bark. I hope you can't hear him. Hello, Vinny. He wanted to say he's very excited. Make sure you have a day when dogs can come to the theater, apparently. So what's give me a little bit, I've heard that with the new phase and having this new performance venue, there's going to be a larger stage, for instance. So it's more of an, improv friendly set. That's what I heard. But tell me more about what this will give the community.
Yeah. And it's right next door to our original space, and we still hold the original space. So we'll have these two, the space next door became available, and we're knocking a couple holes in the walls to put up doors. And so the most exciting thing to us, when we first opened our theater, it was just on such a shoestring, completely fundraised. It was like $20,000-$40,000. It was just so bare bones. And now we're excited that we have a fully accessible stage.
Oh man, that's awesome.
It's so awesome. And the audience will be raised. We have, instead of a 60-seat theater, we're going to have about a 75-seat theater with chairs that will accommodate all bodies. Like you said, the set is going to be, there will be a bit of a set with a couple doors and wings on it, and sort of kind of a backstage. Whereas right in our old space, if we wanted, if I was doing a 2-act play, which is something we improvised, a 2-act play, and it would make my character, it would make sense for my character to enter from the other side of the stage, but I'm on like the right side of the stage, or I guess in that case, the wrong side of the stage, I would have to leave the stage, walk all the way around the back of the audience, and they all could see it and come back up the other side. We won't have to do that anymore. We can go around behind. So maintain a little bit more of the magic. There'll be really nice lights, better sound system. It's gonna be a real improv theater, and people who've only seen our theater don't know what it even that means because they're just used to our theater.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that it's the true dream, right? And I love that you started saying, can I make a living doing what I love? And now I think it's, can you make a living doing what you love? Yes. And see what I did there?
Maybe you did there.
I'm not that good with improv, but I can try. So you said earlier, improv is life.
Yes.
That was your words. And I love that. And I think one of the things, so years back, I was on the board. You may or may not know the drama studio in Springfield.
Uh-huh.
And I was on the board and someone said to me, well, Jill, you're not a parent. Why are you on this board? And I was like, what? And I said, I'm on this board because I think that what we're missing in our schools today is the skill set around whether you call them soft skills, we now call them power skills, but for kids, how to look someone in the eye, how to shake a hand, how to have the confidence to stand up and to be able to speak and speak what you want. And that's what I think improv gives. So I, like you, think improv is life. But tell me, when you say that, what does that mean to you?
Well, did you get a script for life? And I ask this to almost every group I work with because I'm interested in finding out how it turns out. I'm like, I always check with people. So far, I have not met anybody who's gotten a script for life.
Yeah, no, mine must have gotten lost in the mail.
It did.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I didn't get one.
Yeah, we're improvising. So that's why I get so excited about my job, is that I get to provide people with the skills. And it's really about much more than getting up on stage. In fact, the vast majority of our students are not taking classes and coming back over and over. And I've had students who are still taking classes and part of our community 10 years later. They're not coming back to perform on stage necessarily, but because they say improv is cheaper than therapy, right? It provides all these important skills of how to accept the reality of the moment so we can move forward together with joy and ease, how to be more flexible, how to not get caught up in our heads.
Oh, God, yeah.
What we wish were happening, or fear was going to happen. It's really a lot. My curriculum is about quieting the inner critic. That's basically the curriculum of Improv 1, is because if we are not quieting the inner critic, we can't hear each other, right?
So
yeah,
we're sitting here today, right? And I'm wondering, is there, and this, I didn't prep her, but it's part of improv, right? Yeah. So is there like a little lesson you could do with me, like just a quick kind of exercise that people can start to think about improv? Because when people think about it, they're like scared because they see big improv, like the shows and the theater in New York, and they're like, I can't do improv. Is there a simple thing we could do together that you could show that anybody can do this?
Sure, absolutely. And we believe anybody can improvise. Now, not anybody could be on our main stage, but absolutely anybody can improvise. And so we'll do this, what I call an ABC conversation. We're going to have a conversation in alphabetical order, where my sentence is going to start with the letter A, and your sentence is going to start with the letter B, and we'll go back and forth and back and forth. And when I go into do professional development, I use this exercise not to practice the fun part of this. And notice I say fun and not funny, and that's a whole other conversation. But improv isn't about trying to be funny. It's just being ourselves and trusting that that's enough. But it's not about performing per se, this exercise. What I want to practice right now, and what we practice in professional development or in Improv 1, is how to notice your inner critic and quiet it down. So you might even be noticing, Jill, as I explained it a little bit, some unhelpful messages that came up in your brain, like, right? Like what? Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm going to blank.
Yeah, I'm like, what's a B word? What's a B word? Because if she starts, like, I'm already like, my brain's already going down the road of like, I'm not going to be able to be fast enough, and this is my podcast, and I'm going to look like a jerk, and right. Oh my, like, yeah, immediately it all starts funneling in there.
Absolutely. So this is exactly now. I'm excited because this is exactly the messages we engage with. They're coming from the internal messengers of unhelpful judgment and fear. We call it the chorus of unhelpful judgos, and I add the O at the end so we could say Cujo. Right? That's our inner critic, right? And it's there, it's present, it's normal and natural. And we practice recognizing it and quieting it down. You can just say, thank you, Cujo. It's just trying to protect you. And now pipe down, just set it aside for now so you can focus on what's happening right now in order to play this game. And so we're going to use this game as a way to hear the inner critic and quiet it down. Sometimes we say swipe left inner critic, like on a dating app. Because what we're really trying to do is just hear each other, right?
Yeah.
Together. We don't need to be funny. So let's try it out.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Inner critic. Cujo, go away.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy, right? That's just Cujo out loud. And it is normal. Everybody does it. I've never had anybody in any, whether it's professional development or a student, that said, yay, I'm going to rock at this exercise. Right. So that's just human, the human brain, humany. All right. So let's say, all aboard, we're getting on the fun train. And your sentence is going to start with B.
Because I have the time in my day and there's nothing better than being on the fun train.
Cousins too. Cousins are invited to the fun train.
Dogs are as well.
Everybody can come on the fun train.
Fun has no boundaries.
Gosh, I love it.
So, you know what I love too is it's not just quieting my inner critic, but it's listening.
Yes.
And that I think improv, what was so fascinating, I'm a talker. I mean, Bill's like, Jill, I told you the podcast should be 20 minutes. Everyone's been like an hour. Of course you're a talker. But my problem has always been that I was a talker and not a listener. And my mom, God, she's passed, but she had this saying, and she always said, Jill, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just hit 50. I'm finally starting to hear her. Thanks, Mom. But it's true. Like I had to listen to what you were saying and not just be, because I couldn't plan ahead. I mean, I knew what my letter was going to be, but I needed to make it fit with the narrative.
Exactly. So that is improv. It's listen and respond. And that's why we have to quiet the inner critic, so we can listen to what's actually being said, not what we think is going to be said or what we're worried is going to be said, but listen and respond. And you can see that applies completely to improv and also map it onto the workplace, right?
And that's, we
have those conversations where we're like, somebody's asking us to do something and we're already like, oh, I don't have time for this, or it's going to be a waste of time. And gosh, this person's always right. So we use those exercises and the improv tenets to help in a fun way to practice these skills of quieting the inner critic so we could be present and listen and respond instead of react.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's funny because I wanted to, and sadly we do have to go, but I'm bringing you back another day. But no, I want to in general ask you to share, and I'll put stuff in the link in the description, but obviously I'll have you share your website and stuff. But you do something, you do a lot of different kinds of things. You obviously have shows, and you can tell us about some of the ones or things that are coming up. But one of the things I saw that I thought was really cool was how improv improves the workplace, and you actually have curriculum built around professional development. And I think there's that disconnect because people want to learn through lightheartedness and fun, and the skill they're getting is something that's real and tangible and big and strong, but they're getting it in a more creative way. So tell me a little bit about that professional development space.
Wow, you summed it up really well, Jill. They're completely interactive.
There's your commercial.
Thank you. They're completely interactive. I'll present the material, and then we'll use an improv training exercises. That's an improv training exercise to practice that skill. It's like immediately putting it into practice. Those exercises are done in circles or in pairs. It's not on stage. It's not a show. I'm not putting people on the spot. It's completely voluntary. I pretty much assume everybody's a scared introvert, and it works out. And so we use improv to teach communication, collaboration, innovation, brainstorming, problem solving, flexibility with change, workplace wellness and well-being. I'm like the father from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I think all those skills, what you call them, power skills, can be solved through improv.
Not Windex?
Yeah, not Windex.
Not Windex. Okay.
Not Windex. Yes, exactly. So that's one branch of our company. And then we have shows every Friday and Saturday night. Friday is our community comedy night, which we have up and comers, students performing, experimental stuff. So that's easy. Anybody can, any of our students can perform at that. Gives them some stage time and some fun time to perform and support each other.
That's cool. That's really cool. And you have a Saturday, like you do a Saturday main stage show kind of series, or
exactly. And that's our professional, highly experienced improvisers. And we have a musical improv show. We have theatrical improv show. All different kinds of improv shows that are every Saturday night.
And do you do classes for kids?
And so, and we have like a full multi-level improv comedy school that starts from day one until like tons and like I'm saying, like about 15 classes run every session. And we just started running again family improv.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So it's a workshop. It's not a weekly class yet.
No, but a workshop is great because it gives people that toe in. And I love that.
Yes, exactly. And it's for ages 8 and up.
Oh, my nephews are 9 and 13, and it's like it's the age where they stop communicating. I feel like I'm like, how was school? Fine. What'd you learn? I don't know. I'm like, anyway. All right.
It gives people a chance to laugh together, and it's any adult and kid. So it doesn't have to be a parent and child. It's any loved one and a kid.
That's so awesome. Well, all right. Unfortunately, we have to go. But before we do, I want everybody to be able to find you. I will put the link in the body, but in case somebody's driving and they just want to hear it, what's the website where people can find out more?
HappierValley.com.
Well, that's easy enough. Thank you so much. Pam Victor, Happier Valley Comedy. Pam is not only the founder, but the head of happiness. And you certainly made me happy today. So thanks for being here, Pam.
Yay. Thank you so much. Wishing you and everybody out there a lot of joy and ease.
And BizBuzz 413 is brought to you by Living Local and hosted by me. I'll say right now every week. I'm trying. It might come 2 times, 3 times a week. I got to get a big sponsor. That's my goal. If you want to sponsor, if you're listening out there, please email us. But no, I'm also really looking for our new feature called Beyond the Biz Card. And it's a series that we're doing that has to do with the person, but then behind the person, like what makes them tick, what's their habit or their trick or their trade, their favorite kind of ice cream, all those fun things. And I'm 99% sure that next week is going to be one with a guest, and it's someone I went to high school with, and I haven't spoken to her since high school. So I'm 99% sure that we'll air that one next week. So please tune in. And again, if you have any ideas, email us at BizBuzz, BIZBUZZ, BizBuzz at livinglocal413.org. And before I go, I just want to remind you, as I always do, I don't care which county you are in. If you are in 413, you are home, because this is one of the best places in the country to live. Thanks for joining us.
BizBuzz 413 was brought to you by Living Local.